Okay, so you got your out of mold bumper here. Let's say you ordered it off me or someone else, out of mold, you got it. First thing you need to do is buy some wax tar remover. You can pick this up at AutoZone or any auto accessories store. You can get some of this. You get a old rag or cotton rag or something, and you're gonna apply this on here, and you're just gonna rub it down on your bumper. Okay, after a few minutes of applying the wax and tar remover, you let it sit for about 3-4 minutes, and then right before it's dry, you take your clean cloth, or you can use, this old shirt that was clean, and just wipe it down real good. A lot of people don't use the waxer before they paint, and they end up with fisheye, and this is the reason why you want to de-wax a part. And when you make these parts, you got to wax the mold, and then that wax ends up sticking on the part, and that wax is what causes the fisheye, and it gives you problems. It's a contaminant, so you just want to get rid of it the best that you can. All right. And this is the step right before sanding. So next we'll be getting our 180 grit sandpaper and putting it on a block, and we'll be blocking this out. Okay, I got myself looks like a 6-inch soft block. The reason why I'm using a soft block with 180 grit is because so this is not really a straight part, it's more of a curved part. So you want the soft block to kind of get into the curves. And if I use a straight block, one of these, a smaller one. If I use one of these, it's just too flat, and it doesn't really go with the curves too well. So let me start this and take a video in a minute. So we're just gonna start blocking back and forth, just like this, up and down. It's kind of hard to do with one hand, so I'm gonna shut this off. Okay, I just blocked out this section right here of the bumper. And you can see it's duller than this side. So that's what we want. We want to scuff it up with the 180 grit, so when we apply our primer, it will have something to adhere to. And that's the whole point of using the 180 grit on this. So it looks pretty good here. There's no low spots. If there was a low spot, you'd see it. It'd look dark and shiny like here. So we could go on to the next part, which would be up here. And it does look like there's some little tiny little craters here, little spots, little dips and stuff, little low spots. So if there is, after we're done sanding this out, we'll see it. And we'll have to add filler if there is any low spots. Yeah, I just sanded this part here. And as you can see right here, there's a few little, I'd say pinhole type spots, real small, like little imperfections right there, there and there. So I mean, you could keep sanding and try to get past it, but you don't want to go too far because this is the gel coat. So what I think I'm going to do is just sand a little bit more, and if I don't smooth it out, I'll put a skim coating of some spot glazing putty right here, and then go over it again with some 220 and smooth out those little imperfections there. And remember to blow off your part every so often with some compressed air, and keep your sanding pad clean as well. Blow that off as well as you sand. Okay, so I got the whole top sanded with the 180 grit, blocked it. I found all my tiny little pinholes, real small ones. So I just got a little marker, little crayon, and marked all the spots where all the imperfections are up top. Biggest one I got is this little chip here, but that's on the reinforcement side, so you're not going to see that. It's on the back side. But yeah, I got a little tiny chip there, and that's on the scanner as well. But those are the biggest chips. All the other ones are little pinholes, real small. And so, yeah, you mark those out so when you get your filler, you know where to put the filler at. Alright, so next I gotta sand the bottom part. And I gotta get this seam line that runs all the way down nice and sanded on both sides. So I just sanded the seam line right here. See, on this side you can see the seam line. Okay, when you sand it, it should go nice and smooth. I sanded it from here all the way across. It should be nice and flat. And what you gotta look for is if there's any little pinholes. So you can see there's a couple little tiny ones that are real small. But you need to fill those in because the primer might not even get into those little tiny little crevices. So you're gonna do that all the way across is get this seam line nice and sanded smooth. Alright, sanded the mold line. As you can see, you can't see no line. The mold line is completely gone. And this is just from sanding. There's a little imperfection, a couple little pinholes right there, a couple right there. I circled them where there's a little, tiny little pinholes, not too many, just a few there. And then I just got to finish this one, and then I'll work on the bottom lip. Okay, now I sanded the sides and the bottom lip. All I have to do is sand the bottom and the inside of the fog lights areas. So I'm going to use a soft sander. This is really flexible, really good stuff. It's very soft, and this has the groove that will fit right in there. See that? This is perfect for the fog light area to get the corner areas right here. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do sand in the bottom, and then I'll be done. Then I can start my filler work. Okay, I just finished the fog light area on both sides, sanding it out on both sides. Okay, I just changed this. I just changed the new, put a new pad on because it was getting bad. So this is my second pad that I put on here for this whole bumper. So if you keep blowing it off with the air, your sandpaper will last just that much longer. So yeah, I'm gonna finish up this one side, the bottom lip, and then I'll be done sanding it, and then I'll be going over my filler and imperfections. Alright, it's about 2.5 to 3 hours later. So it took me about 2.5 to 3 hours to sand this thing down completely from top to bottom with a 180 grit. It was blocked all the way around, every crevice, every corner. So now all those little circles, all those little pinholes, there's not too many, but all the little imperfections, you gotta get some, what I'm gonna use is some 3M Platinum Plus. It's a really high grade filler. And you could use that, or you could use Evercoat glazing putty. But anyways, you need to use something to fill in all those little imperfections. So I'm going to go and do that right now. Okay, now you can see all the little imperfections. I added some 3M Platinum Plus body filler. You know, most of these are just tiny little pinhole. Except for right here, this had a little spot taken out right there. So we're going to let that dry for 5-10 minutes, and a couple little spots there I didn't like. We'll let it dry, and then we're going to sand it with 180. Alright, just got the bumper nice and sanded. I sanded all the imperfections out, and as you could see on the video before, it looked like it was full of filler. And now that you look at it, when you sand the filler down, all that's left is those little tiny pinholes. That's it. So there's not too many imperfections on this bumper. It came out really nice. There's only like a couple major little dents, but that's right here. That's the reinforcement anyway. And a little bit right here. It's had a low spot there. But everything else came out really nice. Not too many imperfections. Most of them were just like tiny little little pinholes. Most people will use a primer to fill in those little pinholes like this, but I just don't want to chance it. So I'd rather fill it and then primer it over. So now this is ready to prime. I'm going to throw it inside the paint box and primer it and let it dry overnight. I'll work on it tomorrow. Okay, we're going to be primering the bumper here with, it's a polyester primer. It's a high fill primer and it's black color. So, just going to get this things. So I got to shut off the camera. I got to mix this primer and then I'm going to shoot the primer on the part. So, stay tuned. Okay, this is a 2K primer, so I did add the hardener to it. I'm just giving it a stir. And I got my gun ready with the filter inside. Trying to do this. It's about a half a quart. Alrighty. Make sure we get all that primer in there. Stuff's not cheap. About $70 a gallon at my local paint store. Online, some places cost even more than that, depending on where you buy it. Alright, now we're ready to shoot. I'm going to be primering the inside as well, and I'll be doing that first. Try to do this with the camera on. I'm going to have to turn this camera off. It's going to get all full of paint, guys, but you get the idea. Alright, sorry it's so dark in here, but I got the first layer of primer on. Now I'm letting it flash, which is pretty much let it dry a little bit for about 5-10 minutes. And then I'm going to put 1 or 2 more coats on. That's how the first coat looks. Alright, there it is. Bumper's nice and primered. Put 3 layers on it. First one was a light mist, and then 2 medium coats. So now we'll let it dry overnight because it's only about 65 degrees in here. And I don't have a heater in here, so we're just going to let it dry overnight. Primer's supposed to dry in about an hour on a warm day, but you know it's cooler, so I don't mind waiting another day for it to dry before I touch it.